So next we have the Flipboard, which I have on my iPad here, and if you haven't seen it, it's just a way to bring in different feeds from, say, Google Reader or different blogs and news sources, as well as you can bring in your Facebook feeds and your Twitter feeds. And then what I love about it is that so much of your the stuff that's on Twitter or on Facebook are links, shared links, videos, images to other stuff, and what Flipboard does, it presents this in a very consumable, almost magazine-like fashion, where it brings up the title, the photo, and some of the underlying excerpt text, and then you can sort of drill down into it and read it. And I find myself, consuming information from Twitter and Facebook in this way, when I have my iPad, rather than going to the Twitter app or looking at just sort of a stream of text. So what do you think about it?
I tried Flipboard early on when it was first coming out. People were fairly excited about it. I like the idea of seeing all my news, stories, all the things that interest me in one place. It was a little bit gimmicky for me at this point, at least early on. That was my main concern. And I think that device services like Flipboard are going to be eventually made obsolete by more powerful web apps or more powerful iOS apps by actual news companies. So guys like Flipboard are going to try to sell out and get themselves embedded into something like Bloomberg's news service or News Corp's news service.
Right. Well, it's sort of the new aggregator, right? So who's going to win out? Is it going to be the News Corps and Time Incs of the world to create specific apps for each publication? Or is it going to be sort of these new aggregation services where I can get all of my publications that I subscribe to all in one place? So what's your ultimate verdict here, fly or die?
I'm going to say die as a usable technology over the next couple months. I think a lot of these specific web apps, specific iPad apps are going to overtake these things. I don't think a lot of people really need that much news from multiple sources. I have 1,000 feeds in my RSS reader. I don't think the average person has that many.
Well, I think you're completely wrong, and I think it's proven wrong by the fact that it's one of the top downloaded apps on the iPad. So I'm going to give it a fly. And I think that people really don't want to consume information just from one, from one source, and then have to open up a bunch of different apps for each source. Rather, this way, you get, you get all the information in one place. So now joining us, we have Evan Dahl, co-founder of Flipboard. Hello.
Hey guys, what's up?
So Evan, you were listening in on the conversation there. John doesn't think you guys have a chance.
Yeah, and it's always interesting to talk to Twitter and Facebook power users who use apps like the multi-dashboard type interfaces with a million knobs and switches, and there's certainly I think those things are going to continue to be important for those types of users regardless. But even if you're a hardcore power user, you still want to go to the cafe on a Sunday morning and get your croissant and like your New York Times and your Flipboard and just kind of lean back and sort of aimlessly browse and discover content. So I think that there's a place for this type of experience. It doesn't necessarily have to dislodge some of the other power user tools out there. Mm-hmm. It's an app where we've thought a lot about the use cases and using the app in the hour before bedtime or in the morning when you're just kind of lounging around. We think we really care about these specific types of daily situations. So I don't think it has to be an either or necessarily.
I guess in my sense of these services, there are a number of services out there. Some of them duplicate what you guys do. Nobody does it as beautifully, I have to admit. My concern is that someone's going to come along, throw a bunch of money at this problem, and then all of a sudden News Corp's going to have a better reader than you guys, or someone else is going to have a better reader, and that's going to be the de facto standard. New York Times is going to have some sort of crazy social system that's going to cut the knees out from under this product. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it may not happen, and a lot of people like great design, and that's what really struck me about Flipboard.
Yeah, I mean, we think it's a good thing if the big guys want to come in and compete with us in this space. We see that as validation of this idea of social news. I think one difference is that, I mean, we try to live and breathe social from the ground up. We're not another type of business that's trying to sort of reposition ourselves in this social world. I mean, when we launched the first version of the app, we didn't have RSS or Google Reader or any of that. We focused on Twitter and Facebook as sort of the new social RSS, as a source of consuming social content. And that's really, that is sort of our DNA. And I think that differentiates us a lot from the other big players that might be coming in.
One thing that you've done that's sort of interesting is that you've kind of brought back, we had this stream metaphor that sort of has been taking over the past 18 months to 2 years, right, with Twitter and Facebook. And then you brought that, and with the iPad, the big touch screen, you kind of unpackage that again into what's something that's akin to a reader experience, except for you're bringing in all of the underlying media that people are linking to, which I find is interesting. But you're still in the same position as a lot of the aggregators. I mean, essentially you're an aggregator, right? And all the arguments that Rupert Murdoch and all the media companies like to make against the aggregators, they could just as easily make against you guys. And if you guys get too big, they're gonna have their sights set on you.
Sure. I mean, one thing that we've worked on from the very beginning is reaching out to content creators and publishers and making it clear that we want to be really symbiotic with them. We want to figure out ways to help them reach new readers. And in particular, in an app like Flipboard, you can even if I'm not a hardcore follower and subscriber of a source, I might come across their content in my feed. And a friend of mine shares a link on Twitter to a magazine or a newspaper that I would never go out and buy an app for, or maybe I don't even read the source every day. But if it surfaces in my stream and I can discover it, and I'm pulled into it in a really inviting way where I can see a really great preview, and it looks really attractive for me to read, then maybe there's a chance for me to become a devoted reader of that publication.
Right. So one last question. I think that one of the points that John made was that somebody else could come and throw a lot of money at this and eat your lunch. I think that the answer to that is that you're already out there. You have a pretty good installed base, and that you're going to keep on innovating and keep on adding features. So what can you tell us about the size of your audience and the usage that you have right now, and then also what kinds of features are you excited about down the line that we're going to be seeing in updates?
Sure. So we've got over 1 million users as of the holidays, which is something like 1 out of every 8 or 9 iPads. Mm-hmm. So we've been really happy with those numbers. Our engagement and usage numbers are making us really happy as well. We're finding our users tend to take this app out, like I said, before bedtime or kind of on the weekends in the morning. And they'll sit and they'll use it for 15 or 20 minutes. It's not this kind of go in and get a quick hit of information and get out. They go into it wanting to kind of aimlessly browse and discover. Going forward, I mean, obviously, to reach an even bigger audience, we're thinking a lot about platforms like the iPhone, the web, potentially Android. We're still, we're a small company. We're 20 some odd people sitting in a converted art studio in Palo Alto, so we can't do all of those things at once. But when we do move to those other platforms, I think you'll see that we want to be as native to those platforms as we are to the iPad. We didn't take some other experience and try to shoehorn it into the iPad. So on the iPad, you pick it up and you maybe want to browse it. On the iPhone, you probably want to pull this thing out of your pocket and look at it for 2 or 3 minutes and get your quick hit of information and get out. So you're going to see us, I think, starting to tailor the app and to each of these platforms' unique strengths.
John, what features would you like to see on the iPad that would make it more compelling for you?
Go ahead. I think that was for me. In terms of an iPad app that would be compelling, I think the social stream is a lot of fun. I think more focus on RSS, more focus on formatting news into sort of compartments, that sort of thing, maybe keyword matching, something that would allow me to follow a channel of images, follow a channel of news clippings, follow a channel of a person, for example. Those are great ideas, and they're actually being thrown around right now. So adding those features and improving Flipboard is probably the way to go, and it's obviously something you guys are working on.
Yeah, my biggest request would be that you still have this chronology metaphor where what I'm looking at is an improvement over the stream. It's a lot more consumable, but it's still chronology. And if the key shared link is is 10 or 100 tweets down, I might never get to it because I have to flip through the whole thing. And I wish that there were some way that I could sort of sort through in different ways, like what's the most retweeted stories, or the most liked stories, or something that shows me what I should be focusing in on right now.
Yeah.
Is that coming?
Relevance is something that we're thinking a lot about, and I think a lot of the other players are too. I mean, you've seen Twitter talking more about relevance, especially personalized relevance, because that's really the key. You don't trending topics are only interesting so far as you're a Justin Bieber fan. What you really want are personal trending topics. So yeah, that's certainly something that interests us quite a bit.
Okay. Well, Evan, thanks a lot for joining us. John,
sure, guys. Yeah.
Thanks for joining us on the floor of CES. And
do you need a TV or anything, Eric? Could I bring something back for you?
I do need a flat screen TV.
You need anything, Evan? I can get a tablet or something.
Just grab as much as you can. Just run.
Yeah, I need an internet-ready TV so I can watch Netflix in my bedroom. Okay, so that's it for Fly or Die. We'll see you next time.